Today, we're doing something a little different. We're opening up a private journal to trace a pretty profound, multi-year journey of personal transformation. This isn't some academic study. It's a real, direct look at the raw, unfiltered process of one person confronting their deepest pain and finding their way through it. So, let's dive in.
What you're about to see is the private record of someone navigating a period of just immense difficulty. It's really a testament to the power of putting pen to paper, not for anyone else, but for yourself, to confront, to understand, and ultimately to change. So our journey starts back in 2022. And these early entries, they're not about finding solutions at all. They're about sitting with this almost unbearable weight of grief and this feeling of being totally trapped by the past. This entry from August 2022, man, it just sets the stage perfectly. The writer uses this incredibly powerful metaphor of a locked box holding all this pain from childhood. And notice, it's not just a memory, it's an active, accumulating weight that's been numbed for years. You can just feel that the work is about to begin. And then just a month later, the pain is so visceral, it's all-consuming. There's no deep analysis here, just this stark, brutally honest declaration: I feel such deep grief, it hurts everywhere. This is the raw baseline. This is the emotional reality before any kind of understanding can even start to take root. And right here, we see a really crucial shift. The writer starts moving from just feeling the pain to actually trying to categorize it. By listing out emotions like guilt, shame, and fear, they're taking this vital first step. They're giving names to the chaos, turning this overwhelming storm of feeling into something that can actually be examined. And that naturally leads to the next phase, a shift from just experiencing the emotion into a kind of self-investigation. It's no longer enough to know what they feel. The big question becomes why they feel it and what sets the whole thing off. And wow, look at this. This slide just shows that investigation in action. You can see the writer is literally drawing the blueprint of their own pain. They're mapping out how feelings like sadness and anger lead to these automatic responses like drinking or overworking. It's this raw, analytical attempt to understand the actual mechanics of their own suffering. So to really get what they're doing in these maps, it helps to have a clear definition. A trigger, in this context, is anything, internal or external, that sets off one of these intense emotional reactions. It's the spark that lights the fuse, and the writer is now on a mission, hunting for those sparks.
So this is the crucial insight they've uncovered, this cycle. First, a trigger happens. Second, it pulls you into an emotional state. And third, a habitual, often pretty destructive response just automatically follows. By mapping this out, the writer is making the unconscious conscious, and that is the essential first step to breaking any pattern.
Okay, so all of this analytical work, this mapping and investigating, it's all building toward a series of really pivotal breakthroughs. Over the next year and a half, the work continued, and it's that sustained effort that allows understanding to finally transform into real, tangible agency.
But before we get to the breakthrough, it's so important to see this. On one page, you have this raw grief. On another, a meticulously detailed business budget. This isn't happening in a vacuum. This deep, painful inner work is being done right alongside the immense pressure of running a business and just handling all of life's practical demands.
And here it is, the first profound realization from May 2024. It's the understanding that their internal state is actually a choice. And the most powerful part? Admitting that they kept choosing pain because it was familiar. Because, in a strange way, it was comforting. This is a massive shift from being a victim of your feelings to becoming an active participant in your own emotional life.
And the next breakthrough follows just a few months later. The realization that just understanding it in your head isn't enough. The pain isn't just an idea, it's trapped in their body. So the next step isn't to think their way out, but to feel their way out, to actually physically release these stored emotions.
So this brings us to the final part of this story. This is where these hard-won lessons start to integrate into a new way of being, a life that's forged, as the writer puts it, in these quiet moments of practice and just being present. And here we see concrete evidence of that change. Sobriety, gratitude, the active choice to go to a healing place, like a retreat. These aren't just thoughts anymore. These are actions, and they reflect a completely new set of priorities. And this is what that embodiment work actually looks like in practice. A list titled 50 Things to Tell My Body.
It's a conscious effort to ground yourself in the present moment through physical sensation. From the coolness of the air to the feeling of your own clothes, it's all about reconnecting with the body, not as a box for pain, but as a source of presence and life.
So let's just recap this incredible arc. It starts back in August 2022, just acknowledging a deep box of pain. It moves to mapping the triggers that kept that pain going. Then comes that life-changing realization of choice and the commitment to finally release trapped emotion from the body, leading eventually to a new focus on what really matters.
And what truly matters? Well, after all that excavation and all that hard work, the conclusion is beautifully simple. Stay focused on what matters. Live a life of love. This becomes the guiding principle, the mantra that kind of emerges from the fire.
You know, the journal began as this exploration of deep personal pain, but it ends with a question that is absolutely universal. The writer had to go through this entire journey to answer it for themselves, and it leaves us with the exact same essential inquiry for our own lives. What really matters to me?